I think it's working. I unplugged and plugged it back in and. It says got audio, but no picture.
Wasn't doing either of them. Okay, you're good. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order October 28, 2024 at 6:31 PM. Roll call, please.
Bennett.
Here.
Branch. Davis.
Here.
Farrell.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Trinka.
Here.
Washington. Whitty.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the omnibus.
I move approval of the agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Bennett.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Trinka.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes. Time for audience comments. You please come up to the gate and state your name. And you have 5 minutes to state your comment.
Hi, my name is Anna Mary King. I live at 6 McHenry Park Road and I have for over 20 years. The entire time I've lived there, the intersection of Roger Drive and College Road has been a problem. And it's becoming increasingly dangerous as cars, predominantly what I suspect are students because they look so young, not only do they not stop at that stop sign, but they speed through the stop sign. Friday night, I was at the stop sign at 5:45 with a friend on my way to dinner in O'Fallon. And I started to pull out. I was chit-chatting with my friend and I looked to the left and down the road, I see a car roaring toward the stop sign, didn't even stop, roared right through it. And if I'd have pulled out, which it was my right to do, he would have T-boned me and I'm sure I would have been injured. Today, when I went to run errands, I'm coming up Roger Drive toward College Road. I see 2 cars, one going west, one going east, just roll right through that stop sign. It happens way too often. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt. My kids are adults now, but when they learned to drive, I told them, do not pull out from that stop sign until you look both ways and make sure nobody's speeding towards you, or at least they stop to slow down. I did file a police report yesterday, and I appreciate the support of the police. They were very understanding. They said what they could do was traffic enforcement, sit in an unmarked on Roger Drive, but if I come home and I see an unmarked car sitting, I know where all my neighbors park. And if I see an unmarked car, I know what they're doing, and I bet the kids know what they're doing too. I think this is a problem that needs to be addressed with the university. There was a confrontation that occurred that is not the purview of this city council, but because Dr. Farrell is an emeritus professor, I did let him know. I sent an email to Mr. Dobbins because I did try to follow the young man and tell him what he was doing was dangerous and it turned into a whole big thing. That's not something the city council can do anything about, but I think that McKendree needs to educate their students better. And I'd like to see the city council come up with some ideas to make that intersection a little bit safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoever, whichever one of you,
Together.
or both together.
We're doing this because the accountant is too far down in the agenda, and there's certain things you probably need to know before you vote, so. City of Lebanon has the opportunity to apply for a grant through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the DCEO, in the amount of $25,000 for the replacement of the roof at City Hall. The grant is reappropriated from Bill Illinois Bond Fund to the DCEO. So this grant was originally to the police department, and I talked to chief and they already have a roof. So I talked to Mr. Fuller at the DCEO and asked if we could change that grant to the city hall because we need a roof. Unfortunately, it is only $25,000. We do have to apply, but the money is appropriated to us. And if we get the grant done within the next 2 weeks, Stephanie and I, they can move it to May and possibly get that. However, the estimate for the roof that we had in 23 was $98,841, leaving a balance of $73,841. So we would still have to bid a job. I mean, that's an approximate cost. It was an estimate. So 25 is when we would have this. So since the money is reappropriated, we have like 2 weeks to submit it, and it will be awarded late summer or fall 25. So I need to know if you want us to go ahead and go after the 25,000, knowing that we'll be on the hook for 75 or more.
Does the roof leak
Yes, everywhere,
everywhere?
several places. So we have, that's why we call it to begin with. So,
That's the next fiscal year, so we have time.
yes, so, I did put on your desk that show fiscal year 25, 26, and 26, 27 is going to be a heavy grant year, so we have a lot of money that we're gonna need to fulfill these grants if they're all in the time frame they said they are, so they
Could you-
may or may not.
Could you, indulge me for just a minute or two? And what does all this mean?
That's how much, those are the grants that we have currently going, and that's how much our part of those grants are. And that's approximately the fiscal year that money will be due.
Okay, but wait a minute. So you're saying like this 102,000 is our portion?
Yes,
And what's the portion of the,
page 2 tells all the grants that we have and how much the city pays, how much the federal pays, how much the state pays. And the fiscal year they
on some of them,
on all of them.
well, what about this one for the sidewalk?
Well, that's an approximate cost that the front side, so it shows our cost, and the back side will show it, so
So the back side here,
that's all the
you're
different grants.
saying,
that we have.
it's.
Yes, and I sent that out monthly, so everybody, this is not new
It's the
news.
first time I've seen it.
I sent them out monthly. So
So when you've got the sidewalk,
we have 2 sidewalk projects. Which one are you talking about?
okay, let's do this one for the school kids. Okay? That seems rather important to me. So you say the federal grant's 500,000?
The Safe Routes to School is number 7. The grant applied for was 250,000. Our part is 50,198.37. It is not number 7.
What's number 7, sidewalk? Or is it 5?
You said the sidewalk by the school.
That's the
Yeah,
safer
I
route.
know, I might be jumping around, but I haven't had an
Because we have
opportunity to talk.
We have 2 sidewalks, so we have
All right.
one down Route 4, which is
Yeah.
number 2, or
Okay.
number
5.
5.
Okay, so
And then
that's,
we have the one over here by the school, which is number 7,
okay, well, let's just do the bigger one here.
okay?
$500,000.
Yes,
They're gonna give that to us.
well, yes,
Is that correct?
they're not gonna give it to us, but yes,
But,
it will
well-
pay the bill, and then we owe 167,742 of that. In
Of
addition
the-
to, in addition to.
Wait a
the
minute, you're going too
500,000
fast for an old guy. For $500,000,
is what we will get toward that sidewalk grant,
and how much of that do we have to come up with?
168,742.
Okay,
That's
if
what
we
it
come
is.
up with that,
they'll give us 500,000 and we can build the sidewalk.
Yes,
All right? How long do you have?
well, that depends on the state and how the grant
Well,
progresses.
let's just say, pick a date or.
I can't really.
Yeah,
because
these are
right-
ones we're already committed to.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
These are grants we're already committed to.
I can,
Okay, but when does it
it is,
peter out?
and the grant is anticipated to take place in 25-26 fiscal year, which would be May 1 of next year to April of the next year. But that's if everything goes properly and timely, and if it doesn't, then it rolls into the next year. Which
So
I have, we're
So
working on,
we may have $168,000 in escrow,
okay, we don't,
right? I mean, you gotta,
we have anticipated debt of 168,000 for grant number 5.
and that's almost like forever until they actually come up with their money.
Well, until the grant proceeds, yes,
Well,
because
that,
we
then
have,
where does it say that it stops?
well, we don't have an end date, because right now we're working on McAllister grant, and part of that grant was 2017, 2018.
Well, I'm not talking about that
And
grant.
I'm just saying it may or may not happen when they say. So we are anticipate 25-26. That's our, and that's the best date we have at this point.
And how often do we talk to these people to find out if there's been any change?
Well,
Mr. Stevens, we talk quarterly. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to try and hopefully it smooths out for you. So when we do grants, it can take anywhere from 2 to 5 years to come in. Sometimes Illinois delegates their money somewhere else, and we don't have a choice over that. A good example would be is,
Well, I understand that,
So-
that part of it, what a grant is, but I just don't understand some of this stuff. Okay?
Yep.
And I was hoping you could explain part of
it's,
that.
as best I can do is on that sheet. The
Okay,
date, that,
so
those are
the-
the dates I was given by the grant.
So the grant then for $500,000 is good for, or I guess was approved on December the 21st, 22nd.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say, when does it expire?
Because we don't have a date. We have an anticipated date of starting, but it may or may not happen. We do not have a firm date. We have an anticipated date. That's all we ever have with the grant is an anticipated date of starting.
And do we check with them every now and then to see?
Always. Always.
Okay,
Okay, so when you get down to the bottom of the agenda, it talks about that roof. So you have a little bit of information. If you think that that's something, I don't know, Larry, if you have any input onto, you think we can fit that in the budget, or because we already have a lot of money going out the next 3 years. But this is a grant that we can get 25,000 or, a fourth of the money for the roof.
And it's one of those, like, it's already appropriated to Lebanon and you hate to turn it down, you know?
but you gotta make sure that if they call you and say the $500,000 is coming.
Yeah.
Pony up the money now. Is that right?
That's not really how it works.
That's not how it works.
They don't work like
That
that.
doesn't work. That's a state contracts. They only give you anticipated start dates, and those start dates can take forever to actually start. An example is the McAllister Street project has been delayed probably 2 or 3 years. Because,
2018.
yeah, 2018 was when it's supposed to happen. And we're anticipating that it's gonna start in 25. And I have the same, for example, then this applies to everybody. We have an appropriation of $200,000 to the Lebanon Historical Society. And we have to do the same thing. We've got the money allocated to us, but we have to apply for it anyway. And then we have to follow their calendar.
Yes, and then once we start process, we have to I do quarterly reports on these grants to give a percentage of completion. And then once we finally get there, I have to turn in everything we've paid on different forms, BLR forms, to get reimbursed. So it is a long process. It is not anything that it takes a lot of time. So, and any other questions on that before I move to the next one?
I have several, but go ahead.
Okay, so we have received notice from the DCEO grant manager that our rebuild downtown and Main Street grant application has been forwarded to the merit review phase. So we are past hurdle number 2. They hope to complete the merit review within the next month or so to announce the awards late 24, early 25. So that is the 2-point-something million for the 2 blocks downtown. So we are farther than we got the last time. We will know late this year, early next year.
Do we have any specifics that the money is for, or just a
This
general?
2 block downtown, Brick Street, that's what it's for. The first 2 blocks, that's what we applied for.
No, I mean specifics within the 2 blocks.
There is a whole 78-page grant that we
We
wrote
filled out, yeah.
that has all the different specifics.
There's a number of options. We just have not chosen the options
Yeah,
or
no,
put
Like,
the
it's pretty
options
vague
out.
of like, you know, sidewalk repair, curb repair, new lights, things like that.
Yeah, so ours is, we have generalities of what can do, bump outs, things like that. But when we get the grant back, then we'll have to form a committee and decide exactly. And then Stephanie and I will have to make sure with our grant manager that we follow and conform to what was said that we will do. And so this is another one of those DCO grants that we will do. I will do quarterly reports on progress and things like that.
Has anybody, thought maybe they were talking originally about parallel parking, or not parallel, but,
Kind of angle part.
Nothing has been discussed.
Nothing has been decided.
Like that grant wouldn't go towards anything with the street at that point. I mean, the street's gonna be many millions more than 2.
Yeah, it'll be
So
everything
This is
but the
just like,
bricks.
yeah, everything but touching the bricks.
Okay, so that being said, if awarded, we will need approximately 310,000 out of the business district funds, as well as 155,000 out of utility tax and 155,000 out of non-home rule sales tax. And that is the breakdown that you guys voted on for us to pay for our part of that grant, okay? So, if we don't get that, then because we have in for you to vote on tonight, what talks about the grant application for people to apply for a facade, which does not start until May the 1st, which is our fiscal year, because we're trying to get some money in there. So what we need to watch is if December, January, we get this grant, we'll need to hold those funds and not open that up to the facade improvement until we get our amount met with this grant, and then we can move forward with offering those facade agreements, okay? Because we told them we'll have this much money, so we have to make sure that we do that.
did you put that money into an escrow?
It's in its own fund.
Its own fund?
Yeah, we have 13 funds. You get that financial report every month. That's the different funds and that's how much is on them. Okay, you get a financial report every month.
We get,
Yes,
how much are we getting about each month on the business tax?
Right around 20 to 21,000,
So we get about 20,000 a month
right?
on that.
Which is
So
what
it won't take long to build that fund.
right, but what we have to remember is that since McAllister was 300,000 more than what we were told and was budgeted, we have to have, we took 130,000 out of that business district fund to apply to that. So you can't forget, we've got,
Yeah, but it's still gonna continue for the next
correct,
18 or 19 years. It's gonna continue
yes.
to do that every month.
It
Right.
just might get postponed a year if we get this.
So
like
we
the
just-
Grant program.
We just don't want to promise the money everywhere because we have told these grant people that if we get this grant, we have this much money and we have to have it. And then after that, we can open it up to the grant application process that they can apply to do a facade thing. Okay, and if you decide to go ahead and with those applications rather than save it, then we're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna pay for it. Because that it will be our financial responsibility, which is almost $600,000. Okay, the second thing I wanted to just talk about, or the third thing or last or whatever. On the salaries, so just so that people understand, the new council members coming in, the salary you said, if you vote on it, is gonna be based on attendance, okay? That's fine, but just remember that right now, it's salary paid the first of the month for the month. So how that will happen is, let's say come May, the 4 people who are, we'll call them senior aldermen, that do not switch will get paid as normal. They'll get salary 100 a month till their term is up. the 4 new people who come in, even if you're the same person and you win again, your term starts May 1st. But since you're paying them $50 a month, your first check will not be until June because you were paid by the month. Or by the week, yeah, by the meeting, thank you. So you'll be paid $200 a month if you get all meetings, but you will not get that until June the 1st. So I want everybody to understand that when you vote on that, don't come to me and say, I want my check May 1st, because 4 of you aren't gonna get it.
When 4 of us came on to the council, our check was held and we did not get a check until the 1st of June.
Okay,
So we're not being paid in advance, we're always being paid after the month.
well, that's not how it is now. That's how
Well, that's how it was.
it is when I
Those of
when
us
I
who started
inherited it from Barb.
So
It
you
was the first of the month for the month.
have to be prepared for that when, you have to be prepared for that for those of us who were paid in June rather than May of our respective year when we started. Because we're always assuming, and we were told that we were assuming that we get paid after the meetings, not before the meetings.
Paying for the month. So anyways, the people that are coming in will, like, this term will end April and then it'll be $50 a month.
I'm not gonna be worried about it for 2 more years anyway, but.
So, and I don't know if you have any questions about that, but I just wanted to, you know, it's changing on how we're paying. So, and we'll have 4 people that are still on $100 a month, and then we'll have 4 people that will be on, if you attend all 4 meetings, $200 a month. Good?
Anything else?
Questions about the grants, come and see me. I send them out monthly so that everybody has, they know every time there's a change, or I send it out in the month, so you know what we got and how much we owe. Because the next 4 years are the years that we're really gonna have to do our copay for grants.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other audience have something to say? Okay. Alderpersons, anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, on Cherry Street. I think it is. I want to say the 500 block. Either 500 block or the 700 block. There's, the street is badly worn. And there's, I call it vines hanging. And they're really worn, they're falling in the street and it's really hard to pass.
On Cherry between 500 and 700?
One block or the other.
I would say between 7 and 6.
600 and 700?
Yeah,
Okay,
can I use an example?
It's in front of the apartment building is where there's grapevines hanging in the street.
Where the Newsoms used to live. Right there, where Pascal Duckett's house was,
yeah.
right past there where the apartments are.
Penny says it's 5.
It's 5.
526.
526?
The apartments are, yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, it's right across from the apartments. There's vines hanging, and when we had that little light rain, there were old pieces of tree limbs in the street and vines in the street, and it's really hard to pass. It's hard to pass, it's hard.
Okay, if it's on city property, they can take care of
Well,
it. If it's
street is
personal
city-
property.
The street is city property.
The
That's what
street
I'm
is,
saying,
yes.
something.
Yes, the street
It was
is.
hard, it's hard to pass without that there. And it was really difficult to pass with it there.
Okay,
But,
Okay.
and it used to be a ditch there. So
Right.
I don't know what happened to the ditch, but those vines need to come down. Cause that's a hazard.
okay. Anything else?
Yes, I want to apologize to Lou Ann because, old age has struck again. And I didn't turn in for, my, the agenda and the, for health and safety. For for the ambulance, contract.
Okay.
So just blame it to my head, not my heart. But, I'm not gonna be long with this. There are some changes that I pass them out to everybody so you could go over them. And, I will have them, not next week. Yeah, probably next week,
Next week.
go over it.
Yeah.
And we can discuss it, cause I do have some changes. And I asked, what's his name? Blake, to explain about the ambulance bay. Because I don't feel that needs to be here. I think it needs to be down at the fire department.
So you want me to put this on the committee,
The committee
For the
agenda, right?
health and safety?
Yeah,
Because the ambulance bay, I didn't go back there because the ambulance people weren't here. So, and he knows more about it than I do.
okay.
So recently they contacted Cody and said they had some outlets that weren't working back there, so we went and checked it out. One of them, the neutral wire was off the outlet, which killed half the circuit. As well, there was a 6-plug multi-pack plugged into one outlet in one of the so-called bedrooms. With that, if you would wiggle that 6-plug, it would kill the circuit. So we ended up taking that 6-plug out, pulled the outlet out itself. The outlet was broke. So behind that outlet, the 2 neutral wires for the first inch from the outlet were actually burnt. The coating was crispy. So I actually took and cut that all off, re-pigtailed it like it's supposed to be, hooked it all back up. But there is other per se safety concerns within there. If they want to call the 2 rooms they use as bedrooms or living quarters. I do know they obviously have 3 escapes out of that building, 1 out front, 1 out the side to the alley, and 1 out the back. But if somebody was to be sleeping in one of them bedrooms, there's no windows. I know in that contract, it says that the city's gonna allow them to maintain that. But moving forward in that contract, you may want to either take in consideration that there needs to be some heavy maintenance done back there for all the years that maintenance been deferred. I know there's been walking back in there, some of the ceiling tile, the grid's starting to fall, which could just be as simple as going in and tying the grid up. Several of the lights, they're old fluorescent T12 lights. I'm sure the ballasts are actually burned out. I think Cody did actually go get some new LEDs to get installed in there. That way they have some proper lighting in there as well. But there is some concerns that people need to take in consideration with that back there in that ambulance living quarters, as they call it.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Miss Washington?
Yes, and I need to know if they've turned in a current certification of liability.
Oh, them,
Mhm.
right off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but I'll check on it tomorrow for you.
Okay. Cause their contract has been up for some time.
It just
So-
automatically renews, which it shouldn't.
No, and they should, yearly renew that and turn that into you.
Right. Anything else?
No, that's all.
I got
Yes.
one other thing. Let's see here, I don't have the date, but anyway, I'm in, somebody, the paper came out to, fix Perryman, road. And we still need it to be, I don't know what, tar and feathered or what. But right now, it's been a couple of months and it's just chat.
Is that at Perryman at Belleville?
Mhm.
You know what he's talking about?
Yeah, we let that sound for a month. And then once we go back in, we'll scratch the CA6 off the top and cap it with, the bituminous cap material. And getting.
What's your E ETA?
The ETA computers, we're not just waiting for a pothole to show up, we actually do stuff in the city. Contrary to belief, maybe you guys, get on opinion I for saying we're not doing much, but there
No,
are.
wait a minute, no, whoa,
There are
whoa.
priorities in Lebanon that we're working on, and our
Well, now,
ETA for
just,
user
just a minute, Cody.
is when we get.
Now, I didn't say that, you were doing everything else. Let's focus on the problem, okay?
The
And I'm
ETA is
asking
when
you,
mercantile is done.
when you think it'll be done?
When mercantile's done. And I can't give you an ETA on that as well, so.
What's mercantile?
The road that we're putting in so that the sports center could possibly go in, or whoever wants to develop down there, also that you get.
Well-
voted on.
Maybe we should take a look at Perryman, because there's lots of traffic on there. And some people are avoiding this place and having problems at that intersection.
The water leak or the intersection?
Well,
It's two different spots.
the water leak, okay, is caused the problem that it's there at the intersection.
Okay, so we haven't changed anything that we've done on fixing potholes. It usually takes a couple months to settle. And then we come in and repair it, so.
How late in the year can you do that?
We can put bituminous material down as late as we need to if we warm it up.
Oh, so whether tomorrow or in January, it makes no difference.
It makes a difference on what we use, yes, but
Okay, but just keep in mind, there's cars running over this area, okay? It's a heavy traffic area. Where the other item that you're talking about, nobody's driving on that street,
correct.
so,
Yeah, we have this project that has to get done in a certain time. So I have timeline from you guys. You asked us to just do a job. There's 5 of us, there's 5 in water and sewer. And I don't think you guys can grasp how much actually gets done in the city. I'm not taking a strike at you. I'm saying this as a whole. We are a very busy city for 4,000 people. And I think we do a lot of stuff that goes unrecognized, and that's what GoGov's gonna put the rest for everybody. So once that system is fully up and running, you'll see everything we're doing. I'm gonna point out, we've been working on catch basins, and I feel very, very sad for the water department that had to pull 3 buckets of concrete out of a brand new storm system that shouldn't have happened out at Ron Ramey's. That's stuff you guys don't see, like, we are busting butt to make sure we're ready. And get stuff done. I'm sorry it's not as fast as you think. I can start putting ETAs on stuff, but if I start putting ETAs when you think I'm gonna get to it and I miss that deadline, not good for us. I can promise you we're working on it. That's what I can give you.
Okay, thank you.
But when I get calls for vines or anything else, we jump 5, 6, 7 calls a day. We might start out saying, okay, tomorrow let's do the vines over on the 500 block. We get there and there's 3 phone calls that there's something more important. It's all about prioritizing. And my personal opinion on it, maybe I'm in the wrong, but driving over CA6 is not a bad thing. Traffic being diverted from Perryman is not a bad thing because that intersection is dangerous.
Yes.
If anything, it's actually helping people that live on Perryman because they speed down that road.
There you go.
Um,
Yes, ma'am.
we had talked one time about opening up Herman Street. Remember?
Yes, we did talk about opening up
Is
Herman,
that
but
still an option?
it's still out there, but nobody's acted on it at this point.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's the only answer I've got. Anybody else?
Okay,
2 words. That's all you get.
I can't,
They took
well,
your
it is 2 words, so thank you. But Anna Mary left, so I'll give her a call and let her know. But the chief sent me a message today that he did do a targeted enforcement at the intersection of Roger and College this weekend, and did write several citations. And they're gonna watch it for a while and keep up with it and try to get the word out. 'Cause once the students realize they're getting enforced, they'll back off. Then you gotta enforce again, and, because they'll forget about it. So Chief's not here, but I thanked him.
No, it's Stephen Neal.
Oh, Stephen,
He was supposed to be done.
okay.
But I agree. I know that they were out there this weekend, plus at the beginning of the year, when freshmen come in,
Oh,
Tony and the chief talk to every one of them, not individually, but talk to every one of them, and we see how they listen.
freshman orientation classes, or first year orientation.
Yeah,
And then the only other thing I want to suggest is that when we're in alderperson comments, this should be alderperson comments, not asking staff questions about things, even though that's good, so that we could get through this and get to the meat of the meeting faster. I'm suggesting that my fellow alderpersons, if you want to ask a question that pertains to water and sewer or streets or something, every meeting, there is a report. There is a report. That's where that should go. And don't be afraid, if you're concerned about a street, this is the way I handle it. If I'm concerned about a pothole, I call Cody and I talk to him individually and say, there's a pothole. This is where we need to work on, rather than use up the whole meeting for something that could be handled with a phone call. So that's my suggestion to all the persons to use that. as
or
your-
the new,
GoGov.
what is that? The GoGo, yeah, where you can fill out.
GoGov, put it on GoGov. That, more people need to use that, and we can put it on there too. You can sign up and put it on there, and you can see whether it's been handled. Then there's a record that's following through.
Okay, anybody else want to say 2 words? Okay,
That's
committee reports.
That's 2 letters.
Oh. Streets and alleys, Bobby.
Yeah, do you want to talk about your, yes. We are attempting through the St. Clair County Streets and Bridges Department to put a stop sign at Perryman and Elville. And I've tried to decide why we want it there in the volume. And the danger, it is danger because there's bushes and trees at that spot, and trying to pull out going west on Belleville is somewhat hazardous at certain times of the day. I've sent, this is the last letter that I'm calculating. We will send it on to the city engineer. And then it's the city engineer's job to write this letter, use my letter or his, to send to the director of St. Clair County Streets and Bridges. And then they will make the decision and let us know. If I was making any bets, I would bet we would probably lose. Because we've tried other ways of putting some bumps and humps and other ways of restricting the speed. And when you use the word speed, I did not use the word speed, I just used the word safety. So we will find out in a few weeks whether we get that stop sign. And that's, a stop sign is no guarantee that people will stop. But theoretically, it's a good place for a police car to hide behind those bushes. So maybe we'll catch a few, and maybe that will encourage others to not run the stop sign. So, any question?
Okay, that fall, Streets and Alleys has, tonight, we'll meet again November 4th at 124 at 6:30.
Okay. Under finance, they meet November 18th at 6:30. Charlie is not here, so I'm gonna start this off and let whomever go from there. We had a special meeting on Friday at 5 p.m. October 25th. And the council approved moving forward with the increases of the elected officials starting in fiscal year 2025, 2026. Presenting for approval the ordinance amending the compensation of mayor, the city clerk, the council members effective upon the expiration of the current term of office. The mayor would go to $15,000 from $5,700. The clerk would go to $8,500 per year from $6,000 per year. And the alderpersons are, they're going to $200 a month, but $50 a meeting for the 4 of them. And right now it's $100 a month, but this $50 per meeting if you're not here, you do not get paid. So that's what we have. It came,
Are there any exceptions?
No.
We felt it was too difficult to decide whether,
Something to the mayor.
well, no, I said now you can take it. So you guys need to talk amongst yourself. Now, I only read that because Charlie is not here.
So there's no exception.
There's no exceptions at this point. No.
That's fine.
I will move the ordinance, but there is a typo in it.
That's a typo.
Well, there, yes, there's another one.
On the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, whereas it's saying that the council member from $1,200, then it says $12,000. The numbers, there's one too many zeros.
See? Michelle, you gotta pick Michelle up after that one.
Yeah.
And in that same paragraph, where it says to council and or to, it should just be and,
Right.
okay?
It says, it's got highlights on it.
That was it.
Oh, that one's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And this had to be done today.
Has to be done today because it has to
And then
be completed
Yeah.
180 days prior to the election.
Right.
We still have, I mean, I've got time to do it tomorrow
That's
and
good.
sign it.
So I
But
make
as
the
far as
motion with that-
meetings,
I make the motion with that one correction and the other two corrections.
Two corrections.
I'll make a motion.
Make
No.
a second.
Second.
George already did it.
Can't hear from down here.
Somebody want a
I
second?
second.
Thank you, Linda. Any other discussion?
Any other discussion? Question, concerns? Okay, roll call.
Davis,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Trinka,
yes,
Washington,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Anything else for finance? Okay, ordinance?
I have 3 ordinance items. First one is the first. Yeah, all 3 of these pertain to the same issue. The first one is presenting for approval an ordinance amending the City of Lebanon Municipal Code, Chapter 36 zoning, planning and development, Article 2 district regulations, Division 3 SR1, SR2, and SR3 single family residential district. Section 36-119, and that one fixes an issue. Let me get the right one here. There we go. 119. Let's see. 36-119, there's 119, 121, 118. There's a mistake here.
That's what was given to me.
118, it's not 119, it's 119. There's 121.
I'm saying it's 118, not 119.
Right.
First one.
Basically, this one here changes the one principal building on one lot ordinance. I'm not sure if that's 118 or 119, I think it's 119. Occurring in the SR1, SR2, SR3 districts that after October 15th, 2024 shall not erect more than one principal building on a lot. What that does is essentially grandfathers all those lots that have 2 principal buildings on them. Then from this point forward, cannot build a second, third, or fourth, whatever, principal building on those lots. There will only be one principal building permitted per lot. That resolves an issue with, what's your address? Your left.
I'm
Yeah.
here,
Oh, you're here?
315 South Monroe.
315 South Monroe. Yeah, that's a second,
But doesn't-
that's a second
Yes.
principal residence on the same lot that is also,
401 West Shoots.
401 West Shoots.
Isn't that what we were trying to get rid of so you could rebuild?
Yeah, that's what they're all three of these do that.
Okay.
One of them allows the grandfathers in all those lots with two or more principal residents. And we had to look at each of the ordinances because they did three
I
different
just
things.
don't want it to go the wrong way.
What?
We just don't want it to go the wrong way.
Right. So I'm moving that. I'll need a second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Trinka,
Yes,
Washington,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Okay, the second one.
We don't know if it's in here.
Into my nice neat stack.
120.
120. There's one. This is, the move, approval of the ordinance amending the City of Lebanon Municipal Code, Chapter 36 zoning planning development, Article 2 district regulations, Division 3 SR1, SR2, and SR3 single family residential districts. Modifying section 36-120. And what that does is it requires that every principal building built in these districts erected after October 2024 shall conform to the applicable requirements indicated in the table that's contained in the ordinance. So after October 15th, they must meet those. So those that are built before get a little leeway.
Okay.
And I moved that, so in a second.
I'll make the second on that.
Roll call. Discussion. We beat it to them.
We beat that one to death.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Trinka,
yes,
Washington,
Yeah.
Bennett,
Yes, man.
Davis.
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes. Okay, the third ordinance is I am moving approval of the ordinance, amending the ordinance, I'm gonna say chapter 36, zoning and planning, article 2, district regulations, division 2, SR1, SR2, and SR3, single family residential districts. That's the condensed version.
What was that?
Section, it's exactly what's in there, except that I did the condensed version. Section 36-121, what that does has this language in it now. Minimum zoning district regulations, section 36-121. One family dwelling structure shall have a total floor area of not less than 1,000 square feet for each dwelling unit measured from outside walls, including sleeping areas. And there are two exceptions. Exception 1. One family dwelling structure is erected prior to October 15, 2024. So there's that exception. And the second exception is that one family dwelling structures that are damaged or destroyed being repaired or erected on the original or repaired foundation, maybe less than 1,000 square feet.
You move that the second.
Any motion? I have made a motion.
I'll make the second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trinka,
yes,
Washington,
Yeah.
Bennett,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Okay, we meet November 4th at 6:30 PM. And I don't believe I have anything coming up.
Okay, thank you. Water sewer, Pat.
Nothing as far as I know.
Okay. Cemetery, Mr. Turnbull?
We still haven't received the medallion saying the first burial was in 1804. So I'm still waiting from Carrie.
Okay, okay. Health and safety, Ms. Washington?
The next meeting will be November the 18th at 6:30.
Okay. Public property, Yolanda's not here. Next meeting will be November 4th at 6:30 PM. Can I say something about public property? About who? Yes.
Okay, on the public property, we, opened those bids. All the money's come in, so,
So everything's been picked up?
Yep.
Great.
today was the last one. The big one.
The big one. Okay, personnel, Mr. Bennett?
Nothing for this night, Madam Mayor. We'll meet November the 18th, 2024, 6:30 PM.
Okay, thank you, clerk.
No,
No,
I don't think so.
treasurer?
Nothing.
Mayor has nothing? Huh? What?
No.
Department heads, chief is not here. Steve not back there, right? Streets, Cody?
Well, I'm in touch with TWM. We're going to meet up and re-look over our, I guess the house picking me up. We're gonna look over the cities and capital improvement plan. I get with Penny when we get that all figured out. We're gonna look at some roads like, what we're gonna look for is roads that have newer infrastructure under them so that we're not replacing road over top and then having issues underneath. Sometimes it happens. You just have to go with it. With that being said, next week, we are going to be out full force. It's going to be the last round of coal patching. And that is gonna be probably the final coal patch for the rest of the year. So anything else that is CA6 is gonna stay. We will make Perryman Drive. If you have any potholes that you see, please let us know. We don't get on every road every day. There's 27 linear miles in town. So if you see something, say something, that'd be awesome. Greatly appreciated because we can't cover the entire city. Beyond that, I think that's all we have besides, be mindful of the street sweepers out. Please don't pass it when it's trying to turn through an intersection. It's out doing its job. I want to put a $400,000 in the auto, machine in the auto body shop this year. So let's kind of keep an eye out on it. Can't miss it. It's a huge white truck moving 3 miles an hour. With that being said, the city does not allow you to blow your stuff into the street when the street sweeper is going by. Or after it's already gone through, because that makes no point of doing the street sweeping. But we will be out in full force, probably the next month, weather give or take, getting a lot of these leaves picked up, because if we wait until the end, it's gonna be too much for it to handle. So just kind of be cognizant when you park your car. We try to do Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the year, but I'm just gonna have Mr. Berkman probably disappear in the street sweeper for the next couple weeks, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Water, Penny?
Can you hear me from here, or do I need to come out?
Come out.
I think the owl wants to hear you.
Everybody wants to hear me?
Yeah.
And it's Washington.
Talking on the cold patching issues in the streets, there were 5 reported leaks just in one day last week. We're having a lot of service leaks. Don't really know why those are showing up all at once. But we are making more holes for the street department to eventually have to repair. One today on Anna Court, one by Mr. Tramies, which will probably be in the dirt, but just letting you know, there's a lot of those showing up. So if anyone sees any, please call them in. Hopefully, if they're small, we will get to them. And, you know, we can't do all of them in a day, obviously. Second of all, is we are still moving forward with the community development block grant. Those surveys have to be in by the end of, I think it's the 15th of December. So be on out to get those. Heather helped me get some addresses. We have 14 or 15 houses to get those two on Herman Street. I don't think it will be a problem to get those in and get them back by then. But if we have some trouble, we may get with the alderman in that ward to try to get some push to get people to fill those out. But other than that, hopefully we'll get that. We probably gotta, I think the estimate was like $270,000. If we can get $100,000 grant before the new street goes in over the top of it. That would be just to do from McAllister to Fourth Street. So that's only even a portion of what they'll be, the new road will be going over.
Okay, thank you. You have nothing else? Blake, do you have anything? You're not always here for us, so hey, it's your chance.
I don't know.
Well, shoot. Okay, unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. New business, present for approval a resolution adopting the City of Lebanon Business District Grant Program and other documents related thereto. So we need a motion and a second. Motion and a second.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Washington,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Trinka.
Yes,
Okay. The next one is present for approval an ordinance amending the city code, chapter 36. Zoning, I think that's planning.
Planning.
Okay.
Or planning.
And development, adding Article X solar energy, section 36-907 to section 36-908.
I'm gonna move that because there are I received a number of amendments to it. And I'm gonna go through each amendments very quickly. And then we'll have a discussion to decide whether it stays in. I don't think we want to vote on each one separately. But we probably need to get the whole thing amended. Basically, the recommendation, I received these from
Wait a
Bobby.
minute. Don't we need a second?
I haven't, yeah, we shouldn't.
You motioned it.
We should probably be doing a motion and a second,
Right, then
then
discuss.
a discussion of all this.
Right,
Okay, I'm gonna move approval of the ordinance,
okay.
and we'll have to vote on the amendments later.
Anybody want a second
Second.
discussion?
Okay, here goes. These all of the amendments have to do with a lot of the corrections or items being approved by a mayor or the designee changing those to the city council.
Oh, where it was saying that the mayor would
And
do this,
designate,
that, and
right.
something else.
Yeah, because it's a. My head started talking to me, it was answered the question. So the first one is in. I gotta back up to part C. Item 2, where it says, unless specifically allowed by the mayor or the mayor's designee, the action there is to delete that entirely. So that, the total height of the solar collectors shall not exceed 20 feet in height when oriented at a maximum tilt, period.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what it would say on the amendment. Any changes to my amendment, so we can just say all amendments? All right. The next one is also in section C. And it is paragraph 20. And where it says, shall require approval by the mayor or the mayor's designee, that's changed to city council. And then, did I miss one, Bobby?
Public works director.
Oh, yeah, there's another place where it says Public Works Director, and what paragraph is that, Bobby?
That is 12, I believe that's just like this second paragraph under 12.
Oh, right,
End of the
I see it
long
there.
paragraph.
So Director of Public Works, we do not have a Director of Public Works, so it says City Inspector / Code Enforcer shall be posted to assure compliance with the section. So if there's bond in that posted, then it will be given to the code enforcement officer / inspector. In other words, you're gonna get the paperwork.
Did you send this to me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what, it hasn't changed from the one that you sent to.
No.
Okay.
There's a emailing today that went out with all this, or yesterday, went out with all this in there.
Anything else?
That's it, so the motion is to approve it. We have to move to approve those.
Wait a minute, Bobby's saying something.
Yes, Bobby.
In the vegetation, the paragraph that deals with the vegetation.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that one too.
Would be 18,
Well, there's 16 and 18,
16 and 18, yeah, including roadways.
right? See, not all of these show up out in the margin, so I can find them, and we don't have a color printer on this. Paragraph 16 has to do with reflective angles. Reflection angles for solar collectors shall be oriented such they do not direct glare towards residential users on adjacent properties, including roadways. We added the words including roadways.
Okay.
And then item 18, paragraph 18. At the site, there will be a screen with a transitional buffer yard, TBY, and it says the mayor or the city council may allow grass vegetation heights to exceed the city's established maximum growth heights as required elsewhere in the city. So that was one place we're leaving the mayor
It
in.
does need to be approved by that max height.
Has been
Wanted it
approved, yeah.
Before when we sign the documents, it would state in there that the max height of that grass could be.
I think
Before
it's
they
8
have to
inches.
take care of it.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause-
8 inches is what's normal.
And I'm good with that. I just wanted to make sure it was in the document that if we allow them to go over it, then we set that in that same, in that.
Okay.
With, just with this as well, I actually talked to one of the ladies on the Clinton County zoning board. And they have a lot of the solar farms going in, and they actually have it in their writing that every Arbor Day that they require the solar farm people to replace dead trees on Arbor Day as well to help keep that natural barrier. So I don't know, maybe if that's something I just now thought about that while I stand back here going through this. Maybe you want to throw that in there as well, that
Well, we
you know, they
can
have to.
amend it later.
Right, yeah, I just wanna throw that out there, and especially with, the Arbor Day thing, it would be a
Good time to do it.
good time to do that, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you gotta vote on the amendments again.
So you did a motion and a second.
I did a motion on a second for the ordinance. Now we have to do the
With the
motion
corrections already in there.
with the corrections already in there. So that took care of it.
Yeah.
So it's a
Okay.
single vote.
Any other questions?
There was another place in here on, you go on, it's the second page from the second page back. It's right at the top of F. The mayor or mayor's designee, and I scratched out the mayor and put for mayor's
City
designee,
council.
a qualified inspector. Because we don't know what we're looking at. I'm sure Blake doesn't understand what those solar panels and how that all interworks. So we need somebody that could actually
Understand.
understand that technology and knows that type of stuff. And there are probably very few around that would right now, but I'm sure as it goes on, it will be.
So what does that one do, Bobby?
It's, if you flip it,
I don't have.
oh, I'm sorry, it's paragraph F.
And it's,
The signing page is the back sheet. There's the next one in front of that.
okay.
Got it.
Second.
Half administration and enforcement.
Are we ready for
Administration.
Are we ready
Ready
for
for
roll call?
Everybody ready?
Any more
Bennett.
questions, concerns?
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Trinka,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Okay. Present for, is that it?
That's-
Okay, present for approval an ordinance amending the city of Lebanon Municipal Code, chapter 36 zoning, planning and development, article 2, district regulations, district 8-I-1, industrial district, section 36-302, permitted uses. Is this the one that,
Puts the C1 permitted uses into the industrial permitted uses.
right? So I need a motion and a second. Don't all jump at once. We wanna go home tonight.
I'll move.
Second,
Any discussion?
no,
No, we actually voted on it
Yeah.
in July. but we
Just
never got
didn't do the
ordinance done.
ordinance. Roll call?
Davis,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson,
yeah.
Trinka,
Yes.
Washington, Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, number 4 is present for approval, the placing the replacement of the city hall roof into the 25-26 budget. A grant is available to the city to cover $25,000 worth of the cost, but the paperwork needs to be submitted ASAP, which is within 2 weeks. That's what Michelle and Stephanie were talking.
Yeah, so we just want a consensus and a motion and everything so that when we start working on the budget, we can put it in there with your approval.
I move that we
Do that.
include in the fiscal 26 budget, 25, the replacement of the roof on City Hall. Cost to be determined, less $25,000 grant applied for.
There's no cap?
$25,000.
Oh, we don't know, we're gonna replace it. Right now, the bid was at what? 90?
Like 98 something.
So approximately $100,000.
Second.
Then I think we gotta get some rental money over next door.
That's good, but it's not gonna come from this motion and second.
No, that's,
Okay, any other discussion? Vote. Roll
Okay,
call.
Farrell,
Whatever.
yes,
Stevenson,
This is for doing this,
yes,
okay,
Trinka,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Davis.
What was that?
Yes.
Adjournment?
Where?
Yes.
Yes.
It is
Who
7:39.
did that? Yes, who wants to take
Somebody
credit?
over here. Or somebody over there.
You don't.
I don't know.
We'll put Washington for the motion in the second.
Yeah, that'll work for me.
Okay.
and a
Davis
motion
is
was
the
by voice,
second.
correct?
By voice.
Yay.
All in favor,
Yes.
all opposed.
And you can
Thank
say-
goodness I
We'll
didn't
just
hear your
sort of sit
voice.
here. But I agree with that.
Thank you.
We do.
Same time, same station.
Because they're not.